Welcome to Channel. Trump's tariff war with Canada is unraveling, and the signs of collapse are impossible to ignore. What was once billed as a show of economic strength has become a showcase of political failure. Industry Minister Melanie Joly's calm assurance that Canada-U.S. trade talks are moving in the right direction masks a much harsher reality. Behind the diplomatic smiles lies the wreckage of Trump's self-inflicted trade crisis. This isn't merely a setback. It's the unraveling of Trump's entire economic strategy. His tariff-first approach has backfired spectacularly, punishing American consumers, businesses, and workers far more than anyone in Ottawa. To grasp the scale of the damage, we need to look beyond the empty headlines and examine what's truly happening beneath the surface of these so-called successful negotiations. When Prime Minister Mark Carney met Trump in Washington this week, it wasn't a meeting of equals. It was a rescue mission. Trump, facing mounting domestic fallout, appeared eager to salvage a trade war that has spiraled out of control. With a $900 billion trading relationship at stake, the stakes couldn't be higher. Carney, the former central banker who swept the power in April promising a renewed trade and security partnership with the U.S., now finds himself navigating a political minefield. Instead of cooperation, Trump has doubled down, slapping new tariffs on Canadian steel, aluminum, and energy exports. When pressed on the negotiations, Trump's vague boasts about great progress only underscore the emptiness of his rhetoric. Meanwhile, Minister Joly continues to lead Canada's defense on multiple fronts, pushing for fair terms in auto manufacturing, safeguarding key energy projects, and standing firm against U.S. tariff escalation. Behind the scenes, Canada's measure strategy contrasts sharply with Trump's erratic brinkmanship, and the balance of power in North America may be shifting as a result. She emphasized that President Trump remains the ultimate decision-maker and described the recent meeting as both positive and respectful, noting that Trump personally instructed his team to push forward in reaching a deal instead of backing down. Trump directed both Canadian and U.S. officials to continue negotiations, placing special emphasis on cross-border trade in steel, aluminum, and energy, and he wants results fast. But here's the harsh truth Trump doesn't want Americans to hear. While he's been busy blustering and issuing threats, Canada has quietly been cutting its dependence on U.S. trade, and doing it remarkably well. Take Aluminary Alouette, a major aluminum producer in Quebec. In the first quarter of this fiscal year, just 4% of its exports went to Europe. By the second quarter, that number had skyrocketed to 57%, according to Bloomberg. That's a stunning transformation. In just 3 months, a key Canadian manufacturer redirected more than half its export away from the U.S. and toward Europe. And this isn't an isolated case. It's part of a broader, deliberate strategy to reorient Canadian trade toward more stable and predictable markets, as confidence in U.S. reliability continues to erode. Even Trump has acknowledged that the situation is more complicated than any other trade agreement, describing the U.S. Canada relationship as one of both natural conflict and mutual love. But behind that diplomatic language lies a stark reality. America's trading partners are moving on without him. This paradoxical statement perfectly captures the core challenge of Trump's trade diplomacy: unpredictable, contradictory, and increasingly costly. Beneath the bluster lies a grim, economic reality few Americans fully grasp. The numbers behind Trump's tariff disaster are staggering. According to current estimates, these tariffs amount to an average tax increase of nearly $1, $300 per U.S. household in 2025, not as a one-time hit, but as an annual burden. American families are paying more for everyday goods, all while Trump claims his policies are protecting American jobs. In truth, those promised protections have never materialized, and the financial strain keeps deepening. Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs, once hailed as a cornerstone of his America First trade agenda, have turned into a catastrophe for U.S. industries. Michael Garcia, CEO of Al Steel, told CBC that Trump's 50% tariff has effectively shut them out of the U.S. market. The cruel irony is unmistakable. Tariffs intended to help American producers are now crippling them by inflating the cost of essential raw materials. What's being sold as economic nationalism is, in reality, economic self-sabotage. The broader data paint an even bleaker picture. Canada's GDP is projected to shrink by 2.6%, or roughly 78 billion Canadian dollars, costing Canadians about $1,900 per person annually. Meanwhile, the U.S. economy is expected to contract by 1.6%, equal to $467 billion USD, with an average loss of $1,300 per American each year. These aren't abstract forecasts. They're the measurable, painful consequences of Trump's trade war. And history has warned us of this before. Even Ronald Reagan cautioned that high tariffs inevitably trigger retaliation, ignite destructive trade wars, and lead to market collapses, business closures, and widespread unemployment. Trump ignored that wisdom, and now, both nations are paying the price for his economic brinkmanship. Ontario's government has even begun quoting Ronald Reagan himself to remind Americans of fundamental truth. Tariffs don't create jobs, they destroy them. But the most damaging consequence of Trump's failed tariff strategy goes far beyond immediate economic pain. It's the way his